Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are. Today's recipe is a very special one, but before we get into it, I would like to remind you to please subscribe to my mom's channel and hit the bell icon on the bottom. Now, today we are making a delicacy called Nihari, and this recipe is made with mutton. We're going to be using 1 kg of mutton on the bone, and it's going to be a very hearty, rich and delicious gravy. You can have it with pav or bread or roti even. Let's get into it. Here we have all the ingredients. So on the left side you have your whole ingredients, the whole spices. To the right you have all the powdered spices. I would suggest that you pause the video, read them or note them down, and then we can get right into the video. This recipe is my mother's version of Nihari masala and my mother's version of this dish. So let's get into it. The first thing that she does is she adds all the dry spices to a blender and grinds them up into a very fine powder. Here we have the grinded powder. To this we're going to be adding the rest of the powdered spices: onion powder, garlic powder, ginger powder, turmeric, red chili powder and the salt. And mix this really well, get it well incorporated, and from there we are going to get about 18 tablespoons of this entire mixture. So this is going to be the Nihari masala. You can even use this for other dishes. We need, for this recipe of this size, 9 tablespoons of this powder. Now let's get into the main part. You're going to use a deep pot. Add enough oil to fry the onions until they're deep brown. And we are using mustard oil here. So for mustard oil you have to burn off the oil first. And we've added in about 2 medium-sized onions, and we're going to deep fry them until they look like this. Drain them out, set them aside. To the remaining oil, we're going to be adding the rest of our ingredients. So starting off with about 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of ginger garlic paste. We're going to be using 1 teaspoon of red chili powder, and we're going to be using half a teaspoon of turmeric powder. We have added a little bit of water in this so that the masalas don't burn off. Let it fry well, and we're going to now add in our mutton pieces. Coat the mutton really well with all the spices in the oil. To this we're going to add 9 tablespoons of our Nihari masala. Mix it in really well. Let all the masala cover all the pieces of mutton. Mix it really well. You can add another half cup of water at this point. Now we're going to cover this up and let it go for 5 to 8 minutes. In the meanwhile, on the side you can see we are going to grind up the deep fried onions, and this is something we call birista. And once we grind it up, we're going to set it aside. You're going to add this towards the end to this recipe, or to the Nihari. Here we go. So we have been cooking it for about, say, 5 to 8 minutes on medium to high heat. We have added another cup of water, but at this point you should add almost 1 cup of water, and you can see the water, you can see some liquid in it now. Now cover this up, and you're going to cook this for at least 45 minutes on a low heat until the mutton is nice and tender. On the side we're going to make about 2 tablespoons of a thick paste of flour and water. So don't make it too thick, it has to be a little runny, it has to be a little watery. And we're going to be adding this in towards the end as well. Make sure there are no lumps in this. Now we have been cooking this mutton for 45 minutes on low heat. We're going to be going ahead. On the side you can see we have kept water, and that is about 1 liter of water. So 1 to 1.5 liters of water on the heat, because you don't want to add cold water into a boiling pot. Make sure you heat up the water on the side. We have right now, if you saw, added in the onions that we deep fried and then blended, and then we've added in the water. Now we're adding salt. Add a good amount of salt as per your taste. Let this go for about say 4 to 5 minutes. This is about 1 to 1.5 liters of water. Cook this for about 5 minutes. Now we will be adding the paste that we created, that was with flour and water. So we need to add 2 tablespoons of that paste, only 2 tablespoons. Now this, as it starts to boil is when you're going to add in the paste. We've added 2 tablespoons of the paste and your nihari is almost ready. Let it cook for another 3 to 4 minutes on low heat and we will have delicious hearty nihari.